Hello, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jam Box.
This is not a podcast. This is a show.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jam Box. We're here and we're back at it again, and we're going to get on into it. But before we do, as always, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. You know, I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. Now, before we get on into it, I've got one more thing you may notice. It's different behind me. We've changed the entire room. It's completely different. So on top of introducing today's guest, you're going to get to see an entirely new backdrop. So let's go ahead and get on into it. Here is today's guest.
2.flight.
Hello. Hello.
What's
Hello.
up?
Thank you so much for joining us. For those of you that didn't know, this is his second time being on the show. He is
Yes,
a
sir.
return guest from the audio platform.
Thank you for having me back. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for coming back. So we're definitely going to get into some new things, but
sir.
we're going to go ahead and go through some of the core foundation questions just to make sure for all the new viewers, the people who didn't catch the audio one on Spotify because you don't have Spotify, you'll get the full experience as well. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about, where you're from, what you do, give us that like Tinder profile of your involvement with music.
I'm 2.flight. I'm from Portland. Well, I'm from Sherwood, but I tell everybody I'm from Portland because Sherwood's like half an hour outside of Portland, and nobody knows where Sherwood is. I'm 20 years old. I've been making music for about 5.5 years now, so that's me.
Hell yeah. And what got you into it originally?
I've always loved music from a young age. I've just been listening to lots of music since I was a kid. And then in high school, I had a homie who was rapping on the tables in school and was making music. And so one day he was rapping, and I just said, "Come over to my house. Let's make a song. I have a $15 Xbox mic. Let's put this shit down." And hooked it up to GarageBand, and been making music ever since.
Hell yeah. I mean, I love when you can start with like nothing and just like build off the inspiration.
Yeah.
It's funny actually that you had mentioned GarageBand and shitty microphones. I've never told this story before, but I'm going to tell it right now. My very first like recorded experience like ever, it was me and my buddy Mike, shout out Mike. We wanted to remake the song Get Money by Lil Wayne, like from way back in the day. And so we found the beat and we took his laptop and we went out into the car.
Dude,
And just full volume, middle of the day, like just went for it. And the worst part was it wasn't the worst. I actually got to re-listen to it originally because I was going to use it for something, but
Damn, you still got that? That's crazy.
He found all the parts. He didn't find the project. So now I just
That's still crazy you have that though. Like I wish I had I still have like a tiny piece of my like really early work, but I wish I could like have all of the old stuff.
It's important to like hold on to. Like I have a hard drive that I think has a majority of my early
I need to get a hard
work.
drive and do that because like I look back on a lot of my old stuff. I'm like, even though this was like horrible, I look how much I've grown.
Yeah.
So it's like cool to look back at that.
Well, also you can go back to your early stuff, like your super raw, untouched, and you could reuse stuff that never made it into things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've noticed that with like song concepts before. Like, like I have older stuff that I'm like, if I had that same beat, same everything, I could have pulled it off way better than what I know now,
Yeah.
I could pull it off way better just how, like, my voice is naturally, more naturally adapt to making music now than
You're
it
just more
was back
comfortable.
then. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wish I had a lot of my old stuff to, like, look back and, like, all the, good old song concepts and bring them, kind of make them new.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I've done that a couple times, but it turned out all right.
There's definitely room for it. But also, new stuff is fun
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Now, do you play any instruments?
I don't. I want to learn how to play drums, though.
Drums are a good instrument.
But-
I think that a lot of rap artists could benefit from learning drums because it's so rhythmic. It teaches you not teaches you how to be better at being on time is important.
Yeah.
But it's not that it teaches you to like stay locked. It's that it teaches you new ways to say the words. It teaches you new
Yeah.
patterns, new rhythms. Like you go listen to like early, like KRS-One and stuff like that. Like they had a lot of like focus on this changes
I want
in
to use
styles
it like
and
for
patterns.
like live instrument things in my music and like break.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So,
Something about a live drum just brings out an extra like oomph to your song.
You could be like Anderson .Paak. Do both.
Yeah, that's kind of what I want to do is like that type of thing,
Dude.
Be able to play all sorts of instruments. And,
Dude,
bring
Anderson
them
was just in Seattle.
Oh,
last month.
I'm not I don't know too much about him, but I've seen him.
I just thought it was cool that he was so close. He played at a venue for the person who puts on the events and like does all the coordinating. She was a guest on the show the second to last time we were in Seattle. No, not the second to last. The first time we were in Seattle.
That's sick. Well, shout out Anderson .Paak.
Yeah, Anderson .Paak and Carmel from Sea Monster Lounge. But yeah, so that's
That's sick.
That's fun. But that is neither here nor there. Let's get back into it. This next question is one we ask guests every time, early, often, and it's definitely a crowd favorite. What was the first album you ever bought with your own money?
I think it was The Heist by Macklemore and Ryan Lewis.
Okay.
Yeah. Back when I was in fourth grade, I think that was definitely the first one that I bought with my own money.
Hell yeah.
I think I had a couple Michael Jackson CDs before that, but I think my parents got me those.
Yeah, you just kind of had them.
But I remember when that album came out. Still to this day, I literally have a tattoo of one of the songs on there at 10,000 hours. Still amazing album to this day, even though I used to get clowned on for listening to Macklemore. I'm not a big fan of him anymore, but I go back and look on all that stuff, and it's still amazing music, to this day.
I mean, I could totally understand. Another connection story here. I only have 3 released songs of my own in the world, and one of them may allegedly have a Macklemore sample in it.
I need to hear that now because I'm an OG. I've been listening to him.
I'll show you it after.
So yeah,
I'll show you it after.
I'm excited to hear that.
Yeah, it's a cool track too.
He's playing in October. He's playing 2 shows at Roseland here in Portland.
Oh shit!
Playing 2 shows, so I might cop a ticket to that. For the old time's sake, just go and have fun.
Sometimes watching an artist perform live, if you've kind of fallen off the wagon on the music they're putting out, can re-inspire you.
Yeah, I've seen him twice. I saw him at Moda Center twice.
Yeah.
When I was a kid. Yeah, I think one time I was in 4th or 5th grade, and the other time I was in 7th grade.
Well, and actually that segues perfectly into our next question, which was tell us about the very first show you ever went to that you went to because you wanted. You didn't have to have paid for it per se because shows are a little more expensive than CDs. But what was the first show that you were I want to go to this one, got to it, saw it?
Well, I mean, that's kind of a 2-part question. So, yeah, the first official show I ever went to was Macklemore. Mm-hmm. It was actually with my babysitter when I was a kid. I was 4th or 5th grade.
Shout out cool babysitters.
Yeah, I don't know how she's doing. I forgot her name. Shout out her, though. She got her car towed while we went to Red Robin. We went to Red Robin before the show, and apparently she parked. It was BS, but she parked in another section of it, and apparently that wasn't for the Red Robin use or whatever. So we had to go get that, and then we went to the show, and it was the best night of my life. But
well, at least you got it.
That was the first show I went to, but the first one I went to alone. Well, I went with my friend, but the first one that I was kind of older and actually show was Puya back in 2017. I don't know. I was a freshman in high school. It was right after. I remember it was 6 months after Lil Peep died because I did a big tribute to him, and it was 6 months after Peep died, and it was right after I started making music. So that was the first one I bought with my own money and really went to.
Gotcha.
And I fell in love. I was this is what I want to do.
Hell yeah.
So shout out Puya.
Man, well, that nails it too, because I was going to say, is there a defining moment where you decided you want to make music? You were on top of these questions today.
I'm just spitting out, what I
love it. I love it. Well, why don't we go ahead and we're going to dive into some more artist-focused questions now. Let's get to know you as the musician. And again, I'm sure this is a repeat question, but how'd you pick your name?
I've always wanted to move to LA, so 1 flight there, 1 flight back, 2 flights. I'm actually moving to LA in 6 to 8 months-ish.
Oh, shit.
If everything goes to plan.
Oh, shit.
So.
Also, I don't think I did ask you that question because I feel like I would have known that answer.
Yeah.
I love that.
I've said it a couple times in various interviews and places, but
I realized I hadn't asked it yet. So hooray. Yeah. Not as many repeat questions as I thought. Go ahead and tell us about your writing process. And specifically, tell us about how do you start a song? When you get that spark, what is it that inspires you and what do you do when that inspiration hits? And then what decides a song is done?
I have a couple of different ways I work. I mean, here's the main way I kind of work is I'll be yo, I want to make a song right now. or I'll be listening to something. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna make some, something right now. I'll pull up a beat, whatever vibe I'm feeling. I'll pull up that, type beat. Either I get a pack from my producer Skinny SC, shout out Skinny SC, or I look up on YouTube whatever I'm feeling. Boom bap beats, this artist type beat, this that.
Hell yeah.
Get a beat that I'm vibing to, kind of hum something. I'm like, oh, I picked that beat, put it in my project, and then I kind of get on the mic and like mumble some things, vague things, and then try to get like a melody down, and then write to that, and then record it, and then after that mix it and master it, and then that's it.
Boom, and that's done. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. What do you think your like median turnaround time is on a track? Like,
it depends. Like if I sit down and do it all in one session, like 45 minutes to an hour-ish.
Oh damn.
If you're like to sit me down and be like, yo, make a song right now, I could do it in 30 to 60 minutes ish.
Well, depends. Y'all, surprise.
Yeah.
Go ahead and make a song. No, I'm kidding. I'm
got
kidding.
you.
I'm
ready.
Well, we may or may not have you do something at the end.
I'm down.
But for now, we'll go ahead and keep on getting into this. This next one's kind of a broader stroke question, because you put out a pretty decent amount of tracks. You've definitely got some. You got a little bit of a discography.
Yeah.
Out of all the tracks that are currently out, which song do you think represents you best as an artist?
That's a really hard question, because like I have a lot of music and different vibes.
Yeah.
I would say like Cupid, which is probably like my most popular song. That or like Another Day, because that's like a deep one. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I kind of have like two songs, like two styles. I have like I'm making turn up music, like getting hyped in the crowd mosh pit, or I'm making like depressed emo music, but like in that same kind of, I don't know, way. But yeah, either Cupid or Another Day, definitely.
Okay. I guess there's nothing wrong with having multiple answers. I think especially if somebody for somebody who has such question. a two separate style, like not styles
it's
per
not
se,
styles. It's the same thing, but it's like, I still do the same thing, but it's just like different, I don't know, kind of styles within my stuff. So
sub styles.
Yeah. That type of thing.
You have your own sub genres.
And then I've been messing around with a lot of like, so I'll touch on this later, but I've been messing around with a lot of Detroit type stuff and a lot of boom bap stuff with my homie Addict. He got me into the like, I used to hate my regular voice, like when I rap, because I used auto-tune and like, do like a lot of melodic stuff. I used to hate my normal voice, and then I started using it more and like rapping instead of like melodic sing rap. And I was like, ooh, I can actually kind of go hard if, and then Addict really, shout out Addict, he really inspired me to start spitting, like going crazy on tracks. And so I've just been dabbling in that. That's like those are like two separate styles too, to what I'm already. I love that. I'm trying to like bring everything together,
Yeah, just and it never hurts to be expansive and like it's okay to do something different. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to stay typecasted into the same one sound.
Yeah, well, that's why I felt like I would just get bored. I'm like, I want to make music, but I don't really want to.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Because I'm like, I feel like I'm remaking the same songs, and I'm like, I'm just gonna bring up a random beat from a style. Like I'm just gonna make this for fun, and then it just comes out like either good and I use it, or I'm like, this is for fun. This is for fun. This is just a fun track, and it'll never come out. But a lot of the times it ends up being like, oh, this is actually kind of good, type thing.
I get that. I really appreciate that answer. All right, now we're gonna move on to this next one's fun. Tell us about your most favorite show that you've ever performed at. Or if you have too many favorites, tell us about your most wild show.
Definitely 100% my first show that I threw in Sherwood. I think I touched on this last time. But yeah, so I threw a show in my hometown and sold it out. Craziest energy I've ever had for any crowd. Like, it was just different because like a lot of these local shows, people are there to see different artists or just to have fun and have a drink or whatever. At my hometown, it was like genuine like fans of me, not just like,
not just people
I'm here
showed
for
up for
a
something
show.
else.
Like, this is cool. You guys are making music. It was like people coming up asking for pictures. Like,
oh, hell yeah.
Like genuine, like people were like, really messing with me. And like that was like my whole goal was to like affect people's lives. So like that like touched me. And like that was the craziest crowd I've ever played for. Like you could tell they were here for me, not just like, I'm here for a show.
Yeah.
Like they were, I could barely. I play a lot of shows and go crazy. I could barely keep up with these kids. It was
Damn.
crazy. Every single song, they were just opening up pits left and right. I was like, wow, I can barely keep up with this, and I've been doing this for a long time.
Hell
Like,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so I do remember that answer. And so for the for everybody else that has already heard that one before, tell us about your most recent show. Regardless of how it went, just tell us about it.
So my most recent show, most recent show was up in, actually here in Vancouver, up at a skate park, which is really dope. I'm a skater. Been skating since I was a kid.
That was the one with Hooligan Jules, right?
Yeah, so shout out
Hooligan.
Yeah, he amazing dude, puts on crazy shows. But yeah, it was a skate competition and then a show at night. It was awesome. Like, I got to skate for a bunch, was one of my favorite things to do. Skate and then go play a show. Like, and the energy was amazing there. Like, all the kids were like, I was standing up on top of a ramp, and then there was like, the crowd there, and they were like mosh. It was just amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. I love, the Jambox Lives kind of encompass this, but I like shows that don't happen in like exactly like conventional spots.
Oh yeah,
like,
I love the best shows are like the DIY. Can't remember what it was called, like DIY Till You Die. I can't remember if that was Hitch's thing or if that was
Well, I mean, like
thing, but
like every space has its own purpose for sure. But like, there's something about getting to experience music in just unconventional places.
Yeah, there was one
it hits different.
That DIY thing was an like an abandoned underpass. I can't remember exactly where in Portland, but it was the craziest thing ever. I was like, it was a huge space, clothing vendors all over.
Oh yeah.
Amazing show.
Yeah, it's cool knowing that it can happen anywhere.
Yeah.
Now let's go ahead and talk about, I believe you're going to be announcing it on the same day this comes out. So that's exciting. Tell us about your new single coming up called Slidein, I believe.
Yeah, so I got a new single coming out on the 11th, I believe, called Slidein, produced by my homie Skinny SC. He engineered it also. I was actually kind of sick while I recorded it, but it came out pretty good. Like, came out amazing compared to what I thought it was going to be. But it's just
everybody's going to hate me for this.
Huh.
Did it come out sick?
I like that. I like that.
There we go.
I'm not going to hate you for that. I like that one.
There we go. I try to do one every episode.
I like the
Put
dad
that on your
jokes.
bingo cards, everybody.
I like the dad jokes. But yeah, it's a high energy type song. Kind of one of my biggest influences is Lil Skies. So it kind of reminds me a lot of his stuff, even though I wasn't intentionally trying to like, do his style or whatever. Like, it just like came out. I was like, this is definitely, I could hear a Skies feature on this.
Now, isn't that an artist that you like kind of hold in high regard? I remember.
Yeah,
from last
he's
time.
one of my favorite artists. I watched him since before he blew up, and a
Hell
lot
yeah.
of my style, is inspired by his stuff. So
Okay, I could dig
shout out
that.
Lil Skies.
Hell yeah, shout out Lil Skies. Now, you also have an album coming up.
Yes.
And I don't know much about it. We didn't really get to talk. I purposely tried not to bring it up before this interview. I don't even know if it's called anything or not, but tell us about that.
So going along with the kind of the experimenting thing, this is kind of what I've been experimenting with a little bit. I don't have a release date on this yet, and I still have a lot of moving parts of this project that still need to get like finished. I need features back and all, mixing, mastering, and a lot of things. But I do have it planned for this fall-ish.
Okay.
But it's going to be called White Boy Wasted. Not 100% on that title, but it's a whole Detroit style just style EP. I'm going to have 2 or 3 features on there and then like a couple solo tracks, but I just kind of started experimenting with them one day, and then I made like 6 or 7 songs within a week that were just like Detroit style, and I was like, this is kind of sick. So I was like, I'm putting a project together, so that will be coming out probably this fall-ish. So,
Hell yeah. Are you going to have anybody do like a chopped and screwed remix of any of them?
That'd be sick, but I want to do a release show for it. I want to make it kind of a nice little rollout. We're going to do like a little skit for it. Kind of like the Heartbreakers Ball thing. If anybody's seen that, we did a little skit for that. Kind of thing along the same lines, and then we're going to do like 1 or 2 music videos from it. It's going to be a whole rollout, big project type thing, but it's a lot different than what people are going to expect from me. So,
well, definitely keep us in the loop on that one. Wouldn't mind letting that happen in tandem with the show, maybe.
Ooh. I like that.
That's not a discussed thing, by the way, y'all. I'm just putting that out there because hopefully we'll talk about it later, but I didn't want to lose it.
Yeah.
can you tell us a little bit about like kind of like more of like the back message or like the concepts and structure behind the music in the album?
Honestly, there's not a lot of. It's literally just me having fun with. That's what I was back to what I was saying about having. All these songs were just me having fun. Like I was just, I was coming up with like crazy bars. Cause a lot of the Detroit style is known for their like crazy, just like stupid bars, like about stupid things. So it's like just me trying to be funny and like fun with it, but actually it turned out kind of hard. So I was like, I'm dropping this.
Hey,
but
if it sounds good, it is good.
It doesn't have much substance, but it's just a fun. You can just tell I'm having fun with it. So that's kind of what the project is going to be like.
You know, I was actually thinking about this the other day. These are just thoughts Jimmy has at random. But I was thinking about this the other day, how a lot of people do put a lot of there's nothing wrong with where you put your focus when it comes to releasing music. You can release a single every week. You can release a single once a year. You can put out an album every 2 months. You can put an album out every 2 days. There's nothing wrong with it in the world. But we put a lot of emphasis on doing it for specific reasons. And I think sometimes just doing it because it's fun is a good enough answer.
Yeah, this was just because it's fun and people aren't going to expect this out of me and they're going to hear it and they're going to want to tune in. So it's like kind of grabbing people's attention, you know, being like, hey, I'm still here.
Hell yeah.
Thing. And like, this is not what you expect out of me, but this is what I'm doing. So
I dig that. All right. Now, why don't we go ahead and move on to some hypothetical questions? Did we do those on the last interview?
I think we did a couple.
Okay. Well, let's see which ones are, and let's see if maybe some have changed.
Okay.
This one, actually, I know the answer to this one. It's if you could work with any one artist.
Okay.
We already know the answer to that one, though. Or
I have a lot of answers to that.
You know what? Let's see if it lines up with the last one. If you could work with any one artist that's currently alive, and if it's part of a group, you have to pick a single member of the group. Who would it be?
Okay. Well, I have two answers to this. First would be Skies, because I just think our styles, would match up very, very well.
Which I believe was the answer from last time. I think that's how we found that out.
I just feel like that feature would fit so right with me, and I look up to him a lot. But a lot of people clown me for listening to her, but I love Girl in Red. So I've been dabbling in a lot more into like indie music and trying to get those, like incorporate that type of thing into my music. So I want to do something with her. That would be sick. Shout out Girl in Red.
Hell yeah, I dig that. Now, subsequently, who's a local artist that you're aware of, but you haven't gotten to like connect with, but you would like to work with?
You talking I haven't worked with them yet, or just haven't connected with them yet?
Let's do you haven't connected with them. Like somebody that you know of that, like if somebody happened to be watching who knew them could be like, yo, this person wants to hit you up or wants to work with you.
I'm trying to think. I know a lot of people from the scene, so I'm trying to like think who I haven't. Because if I haven't worked with that, like, there's a lot of people I want to work with, but I've connected with them before. Yeah. So I'm trying to think. I honestly can't even think of an answer right now.
Let's maybe say somebody you've connected with, but you haven't connected with about working on music yet.
Definitely, I want to get a track in with Wayne Gray.
Okay,
I don't think I've ever talked to him about making anything, but shout out Wayne. I definitely want to do a track with him. I think our styles would match out.
Yeah, I can see that.
Pretty well. So
that would be a cool collab.
Yeah,
for sure.
So shout out Wayne.
All right, now this next one's kind of a fun one. Like, have fun with this answer.
All right.
If you could perform a song anywhere in the world, or not a song, a show. You could do a show anywhere in the world, and you didn't have to worry about crowd access, power, stability, none of that. It would all work. Where would you do it?
Probably. I don't know, somewhere in like some tropical place. I don't know, on a beach or something. Just like with a nice little sunset in the background. I don't know, get that somewhere in Southern California or somewhere in Mexico type thing. I don't know.
I feel like Miami would be a cool place because the water stays shallow for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
So like it could still like...
Perform at Rolling Loud. That would be sick.
Yeah, okay. Miami. Now this next one, this is the last one in the hypothetical questions. And this is another fun one. If you had to pick a completely different genre than any other genre you performed before. So if you've had like the like major influence of that sound in a song, it counts as one you've done before. Okay. But if you had to move to something completely different and you would be equally as proficient as you are in your current main genre, what would you pick?
Definitely hardcore, like anything hardcore.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I've been tapped in with the hardcore scene for a while, and definitely hardcore.
Okay. What would you do specifically? Would you stick to vocals, or would you be interested?
I want to play drums.
That's right. You did say that already.
I feel like it would be cool to be a vocalist because you get, I don't know. I'm good with getting the crowd going, and I definitely at hardcore shows, that's like
That's the whole thing. That's the whole
that's
thing.
where I learned a lot of it. Is like I grew up, listening to like Suicide Boys and all those, and they have that metal influence. Like at shows, you can like the crowd's going crazy, they're moshing like this, so like. I feel like I'd be really good as a vocalist, like in that regard, but I want to play drums. So either of those two, I'd be happy with.
Hell yeah, I dig that. All right, well, get ready for the 2 Flights hardcore remix.
It could happen. It could happen.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and start wrapping this up. What big things do you have coming up? Say like middle, end of August and onwards, as far as like shows and things. We already know about the new album.
So yeah, I got that
potential.
That music coming out. I got a show actually tomorrow. You guys won't be able to see this by now, but I have a show tomorrow at the Waypost. Shout out Figure 8 for booking me for that. I have a show with Hooligan actually in September, early September-ish.
Okay.
I can't remember the exact date or whatever, all the details of it, but early September, that's going on. I've honestly just been laying low and like working, making money type thing, and just
hey, sometimes you got to do it.
Like
sometimes you got to do it.
On my grind. So yeah, that's what I got coming up.
Hell yeah! And then for this next one, go ahead and look straight at the camera. Tell people how they can connect with you.
You can find me on all streaming platforms at 2 Flights with a dollar sign at the end, and on Instagram at 2.flights. That's where you can find me.
Easy enough. And then any other plugs, any other shout outs, anybody else you want to put on while you're on here?
Shout out High Demand, shout out Skinny SC. That's what's up.
Hell yeah. All right, now we got one last question, and you already know what it is, but we're going to ask it again. Let's see if it's changed. But before we do that, I'm going to steal the camera for just a second. As always, y'all, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. I don't know who they are, but you do, and I trust you. And now for the final question. What is your guilty pleasure song?
Yeah, I think it is the same from last time, Just Dance.
Okay.
But go along with that, there's some artists I kind of get made fun of for listening to. People are like, oh, you listen, Girl in Red, like I said.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of, it is definitely not my demographic. Like people would be like, you listen to her? Like what? I've actually, I saw her last time she toured through Portland. And then MGK, a lot of people hate on him, but I like him. So I like his both rap and pop pump.
Okay.
But those aren't guilty. I don't know. I'm comfortable saying that I like those people because I like them. Yeah. But I get a lot of hate for it, so that kind of makes it I don't know.
That's fair. Yeah, I guess over time this question kind of has to restructure itself a little bit.
Yeah.
I still want to dig a little bit deeper into this one before we officially close it up. What's another what's a song you put on that just like it gets you in the mood to just have fun? Like what's one that what's the song that hypes you up?
To what am I doing? Go party or
yeah. Let's just say you're gonna go turn up. What's a song that you get ready to turn up to?
Definitely I don't know, anything Future. I like what Future part. Kind of. It's got a nice party vibe. Nice trap. Let's see, Pitbull. Can't go wrong with Pitbull.
Oh yeah,
can't go wrong.
Yeah, Mr. Worldwide himself. Shout out Pitbull if you want to be on the show.
Hotel Room Service. Yeah, I'm going to say that. That's my answer. Hotel Room Service by Pitbull.
Perfect. For sure. Perfect. All right.
I've been in countless frat basements with that song blaring. That is the ultimate party song.
I love that. All right, Cameron, make sure to write down that last question so that we can make it the recurring guest ending question. Anybody who sees this will know that for deep lore next time. But we're going to go ahead and get on up on out of here. Oof, butchered that one. We're going to go ahead and get up on out of here. 2 Flights, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Hell yeah. And this has been another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jam Box. I'm Jimmy.
And I'm 2 Flights.
And we're signing off. Later, y'all. That's a wrap.